Good morning. We just left Aldi. I thought there was something I wanted there, but it was not what I thought, so I did end up getting a new doormat, though. I feel like we have a lot to catch up on. I've filmed so much footage from my pottery days. I've just done like 2 days of vlogs, and like they're not edited. I haven't put them anywhere, but I figured I'd just do this one raw thing so then I can just like, you know, get the ball rolling. This is more of like a live. Like I think this will be highly unedited because I don't know. I'm just not in the mood, both, to edit at all. But that'll change. I can see on the horizon that I'm gonna really enjoy editing. Let's see. There's a lot to talk about. So I was pregnant and I had another miscarriage and I'm still bleeding. So there's that. So that's like new news for the people that don't know, which is probably several of you. I started taking pottery classes. So I just finished up 7 weeks of pottery, and then I'm taking another 7-week course. And I signed up for their like member access so that you get access to the studio like 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Go. All the time. Every day. What else is new? That's basically it. Those are the big life updates. I'm really enjoying pottery. Like, I love it. I'm 7 week's in, so I haven't found my like flavor and my style, but I absolutely love it. And I've made some pretty, some ugly pots, some cute pots. It's a mixed bag for sure. I don't have any consistent throwing style or technique or like, you know how you can look at a piece and you're like, well, I don't know, you can look at a piece or several pieces and you're like, oh, so and so made that. Maybe. I don't have that. I have no artistic flair whatsoever. So I'm hoping that'll come with time, or maybe I'll just be like boring and just always be dipping in the glaze. I don't particularly like the glazes at the studio. They make all their own glazes. And they're very like earthy, like very like warm, like kind of watery. Not watery necessarily in like consistency, but just kind of like, they're like kind of thin, like when they're actually applied. And I like the like drips and the goops and the blobs. Like I love like the texture. So I can buy my own glaze and use my own glaze in the studio. But that's later. That's later down the line. I don't know. I feel a little silly because now I'm like, should I edit this up and like chop it and make it a little more interesting, or should we just be with the pauses in between? And I think we're just gonna roll with the pauses. So if you need to skip forward, you can. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe the miscarriage would be interesting to talk about. I mean, it's definitely clickbaitable. That's easy. That's easy. Child's play for the YouTube algorithm. But I feel like I processed it really well, and I like navigated it really well, and I don't know. I'm just like really proud of myself for how I handled the whole thing. Like even the pregnancy, like I think I did a good job navigating that too, and like eating nutrient dense foods, and I was following more so like a Sally Fallon, like brewer without the carbs way of eating. So it was like mostly carnivore, and the carbs I was getting was from like cottage cheese, because I ate copious amounts of cottage cheese. And I just ate a half a tub of cottage cheese this morning for breakfast. I am just in my cottage cheese era, and there's nothing can stop me. No fruits, no vegetables. I mean, pickles. But yeah, that's what I ate. And I felt really good about it. And I felt like really balanced. Like I didn't have any cravings whatsoever, which I was like, at first I was alarmed about, because my first time I got pregnant, I had like wild, unhinged cravings. But this time, not so much at all, which I was like, oh no, is that a bad thing? And I wasn't like euphoric like I was the first time. So and I was like, oh no, is this a bad thing? Like, shouldn't I be euphoric? And then, but I don't know, everything was just so even keel, which was cool, I think. And then I had a miscarriage, which was crazy. David and I were camping, and I laid down to take a nap at like 11, and I woke up and I had like cramping, and then the cramping turned into a miscarriage. It just like happened like out of nowhere. It happened so fast. And I was in like a ton of like excruciating pain, and it was just pretty awful. While we were at the campsite, we went to Dollar Tree and got pads, because just in case it was just like maybe some spotting, you know. But I knew because I went to the bathroom in the stall to go take a poop, leave a poop technically, and I pooped, and then I sat there for like maybe 30 seconds more, and then I heard another plop, and it wasn't from my poop hole, and I was like, oh, yep, I know that sound. There was a big blood clot in the toilet. So that was the end. So this pregnancy lasted longer than my first one. So that's cool. But it didn't last the whole way. And I think the interesting thing about it, and this happened the first time too, is the first time David and I prayed over my womb for a healthy baby. And like, if it's not healthy, then like let it go. Like I want this baby to be healthy and viable and vibrant and amazing and smart and beautiful and all of those things. And if it's not going to be that, then like, let's cut our losses. And then shortly after that prayer, I had a miscarriage. And then this pregnancy, I actually had a dream pretty early on that I was sitting on the side of the tub, and there was like blood dripping down the side of the tub. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, why did I have that dream? And that was kind of the end of it, by the end of my thought process. And then when we were camping, I was in the tent by myself the first night. David was out by the fire, and I just had my hands over my womb, and I was praying for a healthy, happy, beautiful, smart baby. And then the next morning I had a miscarriage. And it was so interesting. Like, it was sad, but not really. Like, it was almost kind of a relief. Like, I'd rather miscarry earlier than later. Like, I'd rather it be a clump of cells, which I know is like offensive to say to the pro-lifers, which I am pro-life. But that's like all it felt like. That's all it felt like the first time too. The first time I could feel a soul with that baby, and I like communicated with it all the time. The second time I couldn't feel anything, and it felt like intentionally so. Like, when I checked in and asked God about it, it was like the sense I got back was like, you don't need to worry about it. Like, it just kind of feels like the soul comes in later, like into the body of the baby. That feels like that is a later process rather than like a clump of cells process. Like, I don't think the soul's in the clump of cells. Like, I don't think there's a soul in the, like, I don't know. It's just my sense on it, at least. I don't fucking know. Nobody fucking knows. If anybody says they know, they don't know. They're lying to you. No. That's just what I think. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. You got to check in. You got to ask. But that's my sense on it, at least, as the soul comes, like, in later. But I think you can still communicate with the soul outside of the body, obviously. I mean, how many dead people have I talked to in my life? Too many. So obviously they're not in a body anymore, and you can still communicate with them. So yeah, so there's that. And it was interesting too, and I don't know, I'm sure David and I will talk about this in various forms, but during this camping trip, we were talking about darkness and how darkness manipulates here. And, you know, I'm always saying, like, this place is darker than we think. And I still stand by that. Like, I still think that. I think it's so much darker than we can comprehend, unfortunately. I know that's not the positive polypants thing to say, but it's what I feel to be true, and you can check in about it too. Fact check me, you know? Do your own intuitive check me. Cultivate that feed. So anyway, we were talking about darkness, and we were talking about how, like, there's this whole idea with LaVeyan Satanism. There's lesser magic and greater magic. And I don't remember which one's which. David could tell us. But there's this idea that, I just want to wait for my neighbor to pass. Our dog is right in front of my car, and she is too. I don't want to make eye contact. So there's this idea, greater magic and lesser magic. It's one of them is using emotions to manipulate, which, hello, like, welcome to 2020. Welcome to George Floyd. Welcome to no kings. No kings. That shit cracks me the fuck up. But anyway, right? It's like, that is pure emotion, like just using emotion to manipulate people. And it's weird when you just experience emotion as raw emotion. It comes in and it leaves. Like, I feel like that's what this miscarriage was. This miscarriage was like the deepest, rawest emotion I've ever felt. Like, the ugliest I've ever cried. Like, I went into such a deep place. David said he's never seen me go that deep before, which is crazy because I feel like I have, but maybe not. I mean, I don't know. But I just went somewhere, and like, I didn't care. Like, I didn't care who saw me, who heard me. Like, I ended up leaving the line at Dollar Tree and left David with the whole 6 things of pads. I didn't know how much I'd bleed or, you know, what it would be like. And I left Dollar Tree and just got in the car, and our back window was not broken, but like the slider thing broke. So our window was down, and I'm just wailing. I was like, I don't care. I put my hood on, and I was just sat in the passenger seat and just was sobbing. And then David came out to the car, and he didn't witness any of that. But then I just kept going. And like, the pain was so intense, the sadness, the grief. And like, it wasn't attached to anything. Like, I didn't make myself wrong. Like, there was no additional narrative on top of what I was feeling. Like, what I was feeling was just pure raw emotion. And it was attached to a circumstance that happened in my life directly to me. Like, and I just went for it. But I can see how darkness works. And this was like, I don't know, just God using a shitty thing that happens here on earth for good and for our own understanding and for learning. And like, I can see how darkness uses those emotions, whether people have tapped into them or not, which oftentimes I find that people don't have access to their emotions. Like, it's really bizarre talking to people, and they have no access to how they really feel, or they like leak out sideways, which is like Georgie Floyd and fucking no kings, you know? How do people not see it? It's so like obvious they're being manipulated. There's a marketing campaign. There's a slogan. There's a cheer you're supposed to chant. Like, can't you? It's you're like putty in the hands of darkness when you do these stupid fucking peaceful protests. But anyway. So anyway, it was just such a eye-opening thing to like experience the raw emotion, just let it be what it is, not make it mean anything, not make it mean anything bad about myself, like that I didn't do this or I didn't do that right, or like, oh, I sat too close to the fire one night and that's why, or you know, I didn't eat healthy enough. It's like, no, I fucking did. Like, I killed it in the eating department. I felt really good. I loved that I didn't have cravings. It was kind of like, it reminded me, I told David this during when I was pregnant. I was like, this reminds me of when we first started carnivore. And like, after a while, you know, you don't have any more cravings on carnivore. It kind of just all goes out the window. And then you start like losing weight and slimming out and all of that stuff, because you're in ketosis, so your body's burning the fat and it's not running off sugar and glucose anymore. But anyway, I was telling David, I was like, it reminds me of like losing weight on carnivore and not having to exercise. Like, I always felt like, I'm like, I don't need to fucking exercise. Like, all like, you got to do your HIIT workout and your Pilates and your strength training and your this and your that and your manic. I'm like, well, what if I just lose weight and I just go for walks and I just eat carnivore? And then that ended up happening. And that was probably like the best shape I was ever in was last summer. I felt the greatest. Then I got pregnant, had ridiculous out of control cravings, and then spiraled into a pit of despair with the miscarriage and never really like bounced back to carnivore until this most recent pregnancy. And it was like really easy and seamless. Meanwhile, from like December to April, I'd been like just really struggling with my weight, struggling with body image, struggling with what to eat, with my sugar addictions. Like I was still such a hot mess. And then something like clicked over, and then I just started eating carnivore again, got pregnant, and then had no cravings during pregnancy, which I think, like, what if that's normal? Like, what if it's normal to not have cravings, you know? Or like, what if we're just so nourished that we don't have those bizarro cravings? Because I think here's another thing. Here's another piece of like darkness using emotion to manipulate. I think women just go hog wild. I think that they're scared when they're pregnant and then they eat. They emotionally eat because they're so terrified and they don't know what to do. They don't know who to trust, especially if you're like on the fringes of conspiracy theorists and you like aren't sure, you know, do you want a home birth? Do you want a free birth? Do you want a birth in the hospital? Like, these are the stories. These are those stories. These are these horrific stories. Like, there's horrific stories in every corner. And I just imagine that there's a lot of emotional eating that happens when you're pregnant. I think it's like a coping mechanism for sure. But then there's also, oh man, there's more to it. But I can't breathe. I'm George Florden over here. Yeah, it's the fear. It's the like, I'm eating for two, you know, it's the marketing campaign, the slogans that everybody says. It's like, you're really not eating for two. You're eating for yourself to nourish your own body, and your nourished body will grow a healthy baby. But your body needs to be nourished. Anyway, there's just, there's all these pieces, but I think the whole like pregnancy thing is blown out of proportion. I think we normalize the weird cravings. I don't think it actually has to be that way. So I'm talking about two different things here, but I do think there's a lot of manipulation that happens in that etheric space, outside of what darkness has hijacked. The collective field, we talk about this all the time with the second paradigm, but that the collective field is in fact hijacked, because you can plug into it and you can find out whatever you need to find out. You can find out who's going to not agree with you, what the pushback's going to be, blah, 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 blah. about what you're doing with your life, what so-and-so is going to say, what so-and-so is going to think if you make this bold leap. And that's the collective field. It's just noise. It's nonsense. It's all the people that are like, well, that's not really logical if you do that, Sally. And it's like, yeah, I know it's not fucking logical. Like, I know, and I'm terrified to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I trust my intuitive knowing. I know that my intuition is the direct line to God. I know that I can stand on this and trust it, and I'm scared to do it anyway. Most people will refute that and not support you in your endeavors. We know this. We know this already. That was like a decade ago when we made all our bold leaps. We know. So it is interesting to just experience emotion as raw emotion without the scripts running, without anything else plugging into it, without any external narrative that makes you bad and wrong. Because ideally, you're as bad and wrong as possible. That's what darkness would want. Darkness wants you in a place of being bad and wrong because you're easier to hook into, you're easy to manipulate, you're easier to control. It's easier to get you to show up to peaceful protests. You know, when they just give you the script and then you just black out and follow it. And you're just running on pure emotion that has nothing to do with said circumstance. It's like, you don't know these people. You know, in the case of George Floyd, those people at those peaceful protests didn't know him. Like, nobody knew him. And then if you brought up his criminal past, it was like, no, that didn't happen. That's a conspiracy theory. It's like, oh, brother. Same thing with this no kings stuff. It's like, what do you mean no kings? We don't have kings here. What are you saying? No kings. And like, if Trump, who is the orange man that is bad, if he was a king and you did that, you were out on the streets like that, you speaking out against our king, you would be... like, that'd be the sayonara. Like, you'd be over. Like, we're not under king rulership, and we're not, I mean, the whole thing is just entirely fucked. Like, we're not free. We think we're free. We're not sovereign. We try to be sovereign. We're not. We're none of those things. Like, we are massively, deeply, psychologically enslaved here. And like, we need to just admit that and acknowledge that so we can keep going and move on and see what else God wants to reveal to us so we can have clear eyes here. But what do I know? The chances of me telling a blue-haired person that's screaming at the top of their lungs, is zero. That would never get through to them. I'm here for the deep thinkers. So yeah, there really is something to just feeling the raw emotion without any external hooks, narratives, buzz, scripts. And then it just moves. Because what's wild is, so day 2 of my miscarriage, I don't know what day I'm on now. It's like, feels like day 300. The bleeding is just so incessant. But day 2, I felt fine. I think David and I even went out for a walk. I was like, can we go out for a walk? Which is wild, you know, but I felt like I needed to go for a walk. I needed to move my body. I needed to just go. And like, if you were to read about other people's experiences and like what other people do, and they stay in bed and like they're this and this comes up and this, and like there's all these, and I mean, the first time it was pretty miserable. I was wallowing in it, but this time I just didn't wallow. And it wasn't like a conscious choice. I wasn't like, okay, I'm not going to wallow in this. I'm going to be strong. It wasn't like that. It just kind of happened. It's like I hit the place that I needed to hit emotionally within my own experience, and then moved on. And now what's left is just physical symptoms. I don't know. I just think there's something to it. Because like, even so, I was using ChatGPT to track all my meals because I wanted to just see where I was at with my protein, blah, 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 my macros. So I was using ChatGPT, and I said, you know, I had a miscarriage. And then it goes into like, you gotta go to urgent care and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, what would urgent care tell me? And I'm like playing it out in my head. And I'm like, okay, they'd test my HCG levels, which would be low or non-existent. Like they'd be dropping at a rapid rate. They would tell me that I'm in fact no longer pregnant, which I already know because it's obvious. I know there's those cases where women do bleed and they're still pregnant and carry till term, but that's not me. Like I know that. I could check in. I can ask. So I'd go to urgent care. I'd have a ridiculous bill, and they would just tell me to go home and just ride it out. And they'd give me pain relief. They'd give me like ibuprofen. That would be it. That would be it. They would be like, oh yeah, there's really nothing we can do. Like, yeah, it looks like your pregnancy is terminated, blah, blah, blah. But like, imagine putting yourself in that situation. So then I like go into urgent care and I'm just panicked, like waiting there, just bleeding and like, you know, anxious. And then around all these other like sick, depressed looking people. It's just like, no, I don't want that. Like, and then I go in and I'm looking for relief from someone in a white coat. And then all they tell me is that like, there's nothing they can do. And like, this just happens and they're really sorry. And here's, here's some high strength ibuprofen that you can only get in Mexico. You know, like that's what I would get. And there was this other element too, which I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again here. So it's all in one place. But when I had the first miscarriage, I was tempted to take ibuprofen. I had 2 little pills on my nightstand for my mom. I didn't take it. But it was there. And that was the most pain I think I've been in a really long time, was that first miscarriage. So much so that I was willing to turn to ibuprofen, pain relief. And I didn't take it. And then it just felt important that I like experience the pain and just feel what it feels like. And then this time too, same thing. I was like, I'm not taking anything. Like, I want to feel all of this. I don't want to numb out. I don't want to numb out on pints of ice cream after either. Like, I want to just feel this. I want to feel it fully. And I did. And it was so quick. It was so much less drawn out than the first time, because the first time I did numb out with ice cream. Tillamook. Mudslide. That was my favorite. So I don't know. I've just learned a lot. I feel like I've grown a lot just even in this short little experience. Yeah, it's been cool. And like, I woke up the next morning too, the day after the miscarriage, feeling really hopeful. I was like, oh, we can have a baby. Like, it's not even a thing, you know, because it would be easy for me to slip into the pre-laid grooves of like, oh, you're over the age of 40. Well, I'm 40 in how many months? 40 in 6 months. Like, that would be a thing. Oh, David's recording. Are you recording? Yeah. Where's your camera?
What?
Where's your camera?
Where's my camera?
Yeah.
Oh, I was shooting video upstairs.
Oh, you have your mic on. Do you want to say hi?
Sure. Hi.
He's all mic'd up. I thought you were making a video of like a cinematic.
No.
Oh, cool.
No. I was just checking on you.
Oh, yeah. I'm just talking about our miscarriage.
Yeah, I know. It's really hard on me. Well, it actually was.
I know.
It was harder on me than it was on you.
I know. I didn't get into David's story, but
Oh,
yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just channeled a video.
Cool.
Completely for me. And now I'm going to do another one.
Gosh. Wait, why?
Because that's what came through.
Oh, but you should share it.
Well, me and B just chatted.
It'll be beneficial for everyone.
Maybe, yeah. I actually might.
Yeah.
I might.
Okay.
But then I'm going to shoot an actual video.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just wanted to see where you're at because I saw the car.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I
You
didn't
do this for a while.
I didn't get the thing at Aldi. I just got a welcome mat instead.
They didn't have it?
They had it, but I didn't like it. The material was weird.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right. I'll let you do your thing.
Okay.
I'll be upstairs.
Okay. Bye, love.
Bye.
They can see you. Yeah, his experience was way different, but that's for him to talk about. Yeah, we kept joking at the beginning, like saying, like, I was like, I hate when people say we're pregnant. I was like, this is no we. Like, I get that, you know, you were active participant for all of 30 seconds or longer. But like, this is, I'm pregnant. Me, I'm growing this thing. So we would joke and say like how we were pregnant. So it was our miscarriage. But it did impact him a lot. I'm back to drinking decaf coffee. I stopped drinking it for a while. I was drinking mushroom tea, and then now I'm back. I don't know, just what's going on. I still don't want to go back to caffeine though. I think it would be too much. But anyway, that's the latest update. I hope all that makes sense. I just think it's important. It's important to just feel what we're feeling and to have access to those feelings, you know? Like, even, it was interesting, I was talking to a neighbor, I don't know, like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, doesn't matter. Back then, a couple weeks ago, everything's a couple weeks ago. And she said something, and she said, oh, I found, like, I'm the one that found my father. And I was like, oh my God, like, she found him dead. He was mowing the lawn. She went out to ask him what he wanted for dinner. And I mean, she was older. And her and her sisters, they were all visiting her parents. And then her dad was out mowing the lawn. And she went out there to ask him what he wanted for dinner. And she found him on the ground, and he had died, presumably of a heart attack. And her eyes started to well up with tears, and she was like, got so sad. And I wanted to like go into it further, obviously. So that's what I do. And then she like was like, oh yeah, well the flowers look really pretty. And I was like, huh? And then I was like, I tried to bring it back. So then I was like, well, I'm like, I can't imagine. I was like, that's so tragic. I ignored the flower thing. I was like, that's so tragic. I said, that's how, you know, I said, David found his mom too, which actually isn't true. David's dad found his mom, and David did the resuscitation, but his mom was already gone. So it's like even more sad that he tried to resuscitate her, but she was long gone at that point. I can't imagine. Cannot imagine. So I brought it up and brought it back to something, you know, that was in that same category of depth. And then she popped right out of it and went back to the flowers, like didn't acknowledge her tears, didn't acknowledge anything. And it flagged for me, like, and I'd been thinking about this for like weeks. And then, you know, David and I start talking about like darkness and using emotion to manipulate. And I was like, yeah, but people don't even know what their emotions are. Like, they don't even have access to them. Like, it's interesting to me that like all these years later, I don't know, maybe it's been like 20 years. I don't know how long it's been since her dad's been gone. But, and this woman's, you know, she's older. She's in her mid-70s. Like, it's interesting to me that it can still elicit that emotion. And then you don't want to touch it. Like, it's like, no, like, touch it. Like, this is why we're here. Like, this, there's so much here. There's so much to be felt. There's so much richness in this. There's so much wisdom. There's so much in these raw, pure emotions that they're not attached to some other weird narrative. Like, this is like the most realest shit for you. Like, we gotta feel this. Yeah. I don't know. So it got David and I, like, mostly David, trying to like connect puzzle pieces with like how how darkness uses this to manipulate us, like our like unprocessed emotions, or because we're so malleable, unfortunately. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see where all this like teaching goes and how it unfolds and all of that. But it is interesting to think about feeling something without any external input and letting it be your own original experience. Because I think it's weird when you look out into the world and people are like, I mean, every pocket has like they're mad about the chemtrails. They're mad about those aren't real though. They're mad about whatever, they're just mad about all these things. And it's like, what if you're just upset with your own life? What if you're just upset with your current reality configuration? Like, what if your current iteration of life just sucks? Like, and like, what if God put you there in this like shitty fucking reality that just you hate? Like, can you come to some level of acceptance within it? Can you find some semblance of peace? Like, can you trust that you are where you are and God put you there for a reason? Because all darkness wants us to do is to like hate our life and try to change it, and try to change our life outside of the energy. Try to like manically scramble to like make a bunch of money to then escape our circumstances. Like, that's all darkness wants you doing. Darkness wants you hating the reality that God put you in. So then you never do what you came here to do. So you never find peace in your life. So you never have a quiet moment to actually slow down and listen to like what's actually real, and that your life is good and that there's nothing wrong. I mean, some of you listening, there's plenty of shit wrong with your life. That is for sure. And you are not following the energy, and you're not listening to your intuition, and you're a big old hot fucking mess. I'm not really talking to you, so it's kind of a miracle you've lasted this long here for 37 minutes. But most of you that I'm talking to, like, your life is good. And you know that on some level. Like, when I say that, there's like, oh yeah, like, it's actually not bad. Like, I've actually like unwound from so much of what I thought was true, or what I thought I had to do, of all these obligations or these toxic dynamics and relationships. Like, I've actually like untethered and untangled myself from so much. Like, it's true. My life actually is pretty good. Just a big boy on a bike. We don't really see that pedaling. Usually just see those electric bikes now, where no one pedals, or they like pedal 3 pedals and then they cruise forever. I'm like, oh my God, this is America. So crazy. But anyway, I think all of that is important to recognize. I think it's important to understand like what darkness is trying to do here. Like, any little teeny like micro thing to get us to hate ourselves, to get us to hate our life, to get us to think that something's wrong, to get us to do things that are misaligned, to get us to do things for money, to get us to do things for a free fry, Krispy Kreme, a Target gift card. Like, there are so many things that darkness will try to manipulate our biology into doing that it's not genuinely here. It's not ordained by God. Because the things that are ordained by God and the things that we get guidance on are like very like menial tasks, like simple, quiet, mundane. And it's to really like sink in and to ground more into this physical reality as it actually is. Those are my neighbors and her kids. The one little girl's walking now. She wasn't when they moved in. So, yeah. God truly is in the mundane. And like all darkness wants us to do is like curse the mundane. You know, curse the reality that we're actually in, our circumstances. When I say reality, like it's like our circumstances that we're in. And make them mean that there's something wrong with us and we should be doing something better, faster, stronger, bigger. Or we need the latest gadget in order for our life to be better. Or we need the whatever, insert whatever. And it's just simply not true. And if we're distracted by all the things that we should be doing, that we ought to be doing, that we could be doing better, we're never actually living in reality as it is. And we haven't accepted our circumstances as they actually are. And then how do you find God in your circumstances when God's the one that put you there, but you're trying to escape because darkness is promising you something better? Darkness has a dangling carrot in front of your face. It's like, oh, if you just made a little bit more. Well, you can kind of sell your soul a little bit for this thing. Like, that's not that bad. Then you'll never do what you came here to do as a soul. You'll continue chasing. And then you'll ultimately end up building your utopia, which is a godless utopia. Because God is in the mundane, and the last thing darkness wants you in is the mundane. Poetic, really. It's fine. It's fine. I hear the applause. It's great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Come again. Come again. Stay tuned. There'll always be more musings. Put my flip-flops back on. This is a total side note, but I was reading through the fine print at the Pottery studio. It was like, don't wear open-toe shoes. And I was like, I have flip-flops on right now. And the girl was like, well, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. You should say that at the beginning of class. Not when I'm like signing the other waiver. The membership waiver. There's also a spot about not having your dogs, which now it's making sense to me a little bit. Not having your dogs come in and use the pottery wheel. I was like, what? And then the owner was like, it's only in there because it happened. She shouts from the other side of the room. It's like, oh, so weird. But that makes sense. I think I've seen people, now that I think about it, like press their dog's snout up against a piece of pottery to like get the imprint. It's probably something like it. That's what it's probably referring to, something like that. I think that's it. That's the end of this video. Thanks for joining. This is our camping stuff still in the back. We have yet to unload it. I am a camping diva, and this is a 6-inch memory foam mattress that I sleep on when we camp because I refuse to sleep on the ground. I just can't do it. I don't have it in me. It's not my style. I don't know. I turned 30 and I was like, I'm not sleeping on the ground. So that. And it fits pretty well in our tent. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze in the LL Bean tent, but it fits like perfectly in our Walmart tent. But we used the LL Bean tent this time, which was really nice actually. The quality is, you can tell there's a difference. Anyway, I'm sure we'll try to go camping again. Hopefully I don't have another miscarriage. It is possible that I could have more miscarriages. That is very possible. And it needs to not mean anything. You know, I can see people and like hear people in the collective field, the hijack collective field, say things like, oh, she shouldn't have done carnivore. She needs to eat her fruits and vegetables and her lentils and her sourdough bread. Or not. Or not. Like, what if you just trust that I'm trusting my guidance? And that if I have like 4 more miscarriages, it's okay. It's okay. It happens here. It's something that happens here on Earth. And it doesn't need to mean anything other than that. It doesn't need to mean that like my vibe's low or whatever, you know. I talked to a neighbor recently and I told her I was pregnant. She just had a baby. And then I was like, I had a miscarriage, you know, in the fall. And she's like, oh, we don't talk about, she's Muslim. She's like, we don't talk about that in my culture. We don't even say those words. And I'm like, oh. I was like, well, it could happen again. And she's like, no, don't even say that. And I'm like, okay. So it'll be interesting because from her worldview, when I tell her that I had a miscarriage, she's going to think it's because I said the words. When in reality, I think it's just what happened. Like, I don't think I manifested it because I said miscarriage, because I talked about a previous experience. Like, this doesn't even make sense, but that's the belief out there. I mean, I don't know what all Muslims believe, but that's what she said, at least. I know that's what New Agers think, that you like can't speak things, otherwise they'll come true. And I've spoken a lot of things that have never come true. So, and I'm not about to like self-censor or edit my speech or not talk about my experience real time or like try to like light wash it and make it whatever so it doesn't happen again. Like, it's like, no, it's just something that happens here. And if you have a miscarriage, you get it. And if you haven't had a miscarriage, well, then you're not going to get it. And that's okay. It doesn't matter. Not everybody needs to have the same experience. Personally, like I said with my first miscarriage, I think it makes me more relatable. I think it's just a thing we can talk about, you know? I told people too early, in quotes, too early, another script given to you by the collective field, that I was pregnant. And I plan on doing that probably till the end of time, like until I stop getting pregnant. Like, why would I not say anything unless I was guided to like keep it to myself for longer? You know, that would be the only difference. But if I'm guided to talk about it, why not? Like, they're just made up rule sets. Like, what, you don't talk about it until you're 12 weeks in, and then it's safe to talk about it. But before then, you don't, in the chance that you could have a miscarriage. And then if you do have a miscarriage, nobody even knows you were pregnant to begin with. So, like, there's no one to really talk about it with. And nobody that really gets it. Like, that's sad. That's unfortunate. What a great ploy by darkness to keep women feeling isolated and alone. To give them the idea that they're not allowed to talk about these things. And to think that, like, if you're over the age of 40, you're at risk, you're geriatric. That's the word they use. Why? It's arbitrary. It's arbitrary. They just started putting it in medical books, and now medical professionals use it. Like, it's based on nothing. It's based on nothing. It's just terms. It's words that instill fear in people. As long as you're getting your period, you can get pregnant. That's how our bodies work. We can get pregnant until we're like in our 60s, depending on how your cycle is. Like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong. So, but you can feel all the collective scripts and all the things. And I don't know, maybe you're even pulling from some of those collective scripts, judging me, thinking, oh, well, it's because she ate carnivore, you know, or oh, because she's 40 years old in 6 months or whatever. It's like, no, it's just what happens here. It's something that sucks, but it happens here. And it happens more often than not. It happens more often than people talk about, because women are embarrassed to talk about it, or they feel bad, or they feel guilty, or they feel like they did something wrong, or there's something wrong with their body, or it's the whole gamut of things. Darkness uses that as fuel, feed off your insecurity, keep you small and insecure and never, I don't know, never feeling what you're really here to feel, never doing what you're really here to do. I don't know. It's unfortunate. This place is so fucking dark, y'all. I hope I'm not the first one to break it to you, but man, it'd be dark here. And that's why we're here, right? Like, it's like, oh, that's why I'm here, obviously. I would never go to a place that was like light and synchronistic and everything was hunky-dory. No fucking way. Me as a soul, I'm too disruptive for that shit. I'd be bored as hell. I'd be so bored. Can you imagine? I'd be like yawning, just like filing my nails. Like, oh, here we go again. Another perfect sunny day. Snooze fest. I'd probably end up being a dark soul there, honestly. I'd have to start some ruckus. So it's good that I'm here, because here I'm light. There I wouldn't be. I'd be trouble. I like it here. I like the challenges. I like the experience. I like the range of emotions. I like the depth. There's a lot of things I don't like about here too, but it's what it is, you know? I think we're going further into this dark utopia than we realize too. Like, I think people understand when I say that, and they might agree, like unconsciously, like, yeah, like, you know, like a nod, like, oh, but fuck, why did I nod? Not really wanting to, but I don't think it's going to be that bad on the surface. It'll be filled with more conveniences. It'll be easier to pay for things. It'll be, you know, it'll be conveniences. It'll be public transportation, driverless cars. You can get here to there really quick now, blah, blah, blah. No traffic, because no one has their own cars anymore. I don't know. It's just, there's a way in which this is going, but it doesn't matter. Like, no matter how like dark and challenging it gets here, we still need to know who we work for, what we're connected to, that our intuition is true and valid, that we live in a world that doesn't support our intuitive knowing, and that no matter what, that is always going to be a challenge. It's always going to be a challenge to stand up for what you know to be true. And like, can you do it? And are you still willing to do it till the end of time, till the end of your time here? And you don't have to, you know, like, that's the other thing. Like, if free will is actually intact, like, you can opt into, you can opt out. I guess you can opt out of God. You can opt out of following your soul's knowing, and you can just plug and play. Like, plenty of other people are doing it, and it's just neutral. It's nothing. It's like, okay, it's just the way things are here. Like, you can do that. I think we get so righteous on our path of being intuitives and working for God that we would never give it up. And ideally we don't, but I can see where there could be a crossroads or a time when things get really excruciating and you just give it all up and you're like, you know what, fuck this God thing. And I think that's okay too. Well, it took a turn. I didn't know I was going there. But I think it's okay. I think it's okay to not believe in God and go full atheist. I think it's okay to just let it all burn and see what's like actually left at the end. Like, see who you are underneath all of it, without the programs and the scripts and the obligations and the supposed tos and the shoulds and the mandates. It's like, what are you underneath all of that? Who are you really? Those are questions I don't know that we'll ever really get the answers to. That's a J-Dubs. He's not going door to door. He lives here. We have several J-Dubs in the neighborhood. So, yeah, I don't know. If you're in one of those places in your life where you're like, you know what, fuck this God thing. It's so fucking hard. It's like, yeah, then don't do it. It's okay. Look around. Nobody else is doing it. You don't get a prize for doing it. We don't even know if this pays off. I have yet to see that this is the way. I truly don't know. I'd like to think it is. I have hope that it is, but I don't know. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I have no idea. I don't know. Will the people be better off, the ones that merge, like with AI and like embrace their digital twin? And will those people be better off in a darkness's utopia? Probably. Do I want that for my life? I don't think so. Like, not really. Do I have moments of where I like curse God and hate all of this? Yeah, for sure. Is it fleeting? Yeah. It never really lasts that long. So, okay, I'll keep this under an hour. That's enough. This is enough chat. I realize I do have a big honkin' zit under my nose, and it hurts. Well, it hurt way more. It was like a gigundo whitehead. So I see it. I know. No one needs to comment about it. I have things coming out of other places as well. My body is detoxing, okay? That's what's happening here. It's just part of life, you know? It's just what's happening. Well, I hope you trust your intuitive knowing at all times. I hope you're willing to feel the depths of your emotions as often as possible so you can't be duped or hoodwinked or bamboozled, manipulated, malleable, putty, sculpted into something the darkness wants you to be.